Dude, the entrepreneurial road for sure is the hardest road.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's really dope. Like everything is amplified.
What's up, guys? So we have my good buddy Mark Lopez on the pod. Welcome to the show, bro.
Let's rock. Let's rock.
Dude, so you are a 7-figure contractor.
Yep.
Dude, but you also turned into like a real estate investor as well too. It wasn't in the past like 2 or 3 years, or how long have you been doing real estate investing?
That's a great question. So we did like dabbled in real estate.
Okay.
Like actually before I was a contractor.
Okay,
So just
okay.
like a buy and hold, like I bought a duplex, almost
Okay.
like a house hack situation. But we didn't get more serious about like flipping.
Was this when you actually lived in it? So you kind of
Yeah, so
Okay.
so live in one half and then
before you were a contractor.
for
actually.
sure.
Okay, Okay.
So I had like a thought of investing,
Okay,
but like
okay.
didn't really know how.
But so
you know?
but now you're a business. You've got you've built a 7-figure construction business. On the investment side, what do you think that makes for you guys? Either passively or in equity or in cash?
I mean, for sure, it makes 6 figures a year,
okay.
like just flips.
Okay.
Right. So the flips can get you like, if you get like 50 or 70 a flip, if you do at least 2, then
Okay.
you're getting like, 6 figures a year just on the flips.
Got it,
And
got
then
it.
on cash flow, I don't know, maybe it's like not much, like a couple G's a month.
Well,
right?
I mean, a couple of G's is not much to you, but it's a
Yeah.
decent amount to pull from them.
Yeah.
And that's net, right? That's why.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
grateful for it. So like
Yeah,
maybe it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever, 2,000 a month
Yeah.
or something. But the equity is the big play, right? So
Yeah.
like on the buy and hold stuff, you can get like, we probably have like over, since we've owned it, like over $1 million
Wow.
in
Okay.
equity.
Wow.
Yeah,
That you built up over that period of time.
yeah,
Wow.
for sure.
So I mean, it's really interesting to me because you're a contractor, but you kind of found yourself into the world of real estate investing. I
Yeah.
think a lot of guys, they are like, so they doing a trade, whether they're a GC, they're an electrician or whatever it is, but they're trying to find their way into the world of real estate investing.
Yeah.
And you somehow found a way to navigate that. I'd love to kind of break down how did you do that and kind of what's your thought process behind that, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. So I think like when you're in construction, you're always around a home,
Okay,
right? So you're
okay.
always around a home,
Okay.
whether that's like a homeowner that owns the home and they're just trying to repair it,
Okay.
or they're talking about like, oh, I'm going to pull out a HELOC,
Okay.
right, to extend my home,
Okay.
or I'm going to build an ADU so then I can have like cash flow coming in, from another unit.
Yeah.
So you're around these conversations a lot.
Okay.
So that kind of keeps you on your like, like your curiosity.
So you kind of hear the ideas behind the scenes while you're kind of in the middle of doing projects.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure that. And then like in Southern California, a lot of people are flipping, right? So you're around flippers all the time and you just hear like, oh, those numbers are different, or like maybe they pay contractors less,
Yeah.
or there's like this strict timeline. Like there's always a buzz around flipping.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you're like, then you see like, dude, they bought it for you look on Zillow, they bought it for X and they sold it for X.
So
And
give me them like what guy buy for in California? You seen something like they buy it for?
yeah, crazy stuff. So you've seen somebody buy something for like 800,
Okay.
and then you're guessing they put like 100 and something in
Okay,
there,
okay.
and then it sells for like 1.4
Yeah,
or 1.5,
yeah.
and you're like, wait, like even if it went over budget,
Yeah,
even if it went over
yeah,
time, even if they
yeah.
had to like pay some people,
Yeah.
that's still crazy.
Yeah, it's
right?
bonkers. I mean,
Yeah.
like if
Yeah.
you do like let's say like TV math, right? You buy it for 800, you sell it for 1.4.
Yeah.
You just made $600,000,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like TV math, right? Obviously,
Right.
we know there's some holding costs, some
For
rehabs,
sure.
some realtor fees,
Yeah.
etc. But then just the TV math.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when you just start, it's like use TV math. It's like
Yeah.
what you buy for, what you sell it for, that's all profit.
That's great advice. Yeah, just to get you like in the game, right? Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
thinking like, oh, like simple math. But what you realize is like even if it was like 100, like even
Okay,
if it was
okay.
like even if I'm crazy and they didn't do 300,
Okay.
and they did 100, they did 100 and they didn't go to Home Depot. Like they didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just like what you're starting to see from like a flipper or something. So you're like, wait, like but. We just did all the work, right? So you start like you're
Yeah.
around it so much. So it's almost like a decision to not get into it, right? To not ask another question. That's a decision to. So I think like if you're in construction, you're always around it.
Yeah, yeah.
To some extent. So then it's like, oh, like it was just a decision to not ask more questions.
Wait, you mean like, so can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So what I mean is like everything's a decision.
Okay.
So like if you're around flippers, if you're around people that are extending their home, if you're around people that are building an ADU, if you're around people that like are splitting lots, or
Okay,
they're
okay.
like, oh, this is my house, I need remodeled, but that's not the house I live in.
Yeah.
This is like another
Investment house or
Yeah, it's an
something,
investment
investment
property.
property, yeah,
Or
yeah.
this is my Airbnb.
Yeah.
Right? You're like around all these conversations that have something to do with investing. It's like most contractors I should say many contractors, they just don't ask the next question. Like, yo, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get that car? Like, how you just have so much money, you could just buy another house? So they're missing the question of like, how did you do it? Like, how did you come up with the money? How did you
I love it. So I mean,
know
like, so you're around the conversations and you're kind of getting like a small piece of the pie.
Yeah.
And so like, as a contractor or maybe like a bystander, or maybe
Yeah.
you're watching like Instagram or something, you see like a small portion of like, hey, I see this guy did something very cool. I know how he did like a very small portion of it, but like, how did you do actually do
Yeah.
it? And so it's a conscious decision not to ask the person like, hey, how
For
did
sure.
you actually do this or accomplish this?
Yeah, because you know it's dope, right? Like everybody knows, like, oh, like that must have been dope, right? Like this whole sold for this or bought for this and then sold for this. Something crazy happened there, and like I don't know enough about it. How do I ask more questions? And that's like the flip game. But even the buy and hold, it's like every contractor knows a guy that has 8 properties or that has 10 properties. And it's like maybe he's an old guy that started in the 70s or 60s. It's like, well, did you ask, like, how did you do this? Like, you know, did you come from a lot of money? Most of them didn't.
You know, so here's the thing is when I was younger, or I guess maybe like not an entrepreneur or investor, I just assumed, like I didn't ask, but I assumed like, hey, he inherited it or something, like he got it when he was like very young.
Yeah.
I just made all these assumptions.
Yeah.
But then now being in the world, what I realized is most of these very successful like investors or guys with large portfolios or big businesses, they started with nothing and they got to that point. But then when I was uninformed as an employee, I just assumed that they started with all of that to begin with. Like,
Bro,
you know,
1000%. I was always like, oh man, like
must be nice
to be a Kennedy or whatever, like to just inherit this thing,
yeah.
you know, like a van or something,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
Vanderbilts,
Yeah, it's like, oh, like that's just, they just, you know, were born with a silver spoon.
Yeah.
But it's not like that. It's like most people figured it out.
Even you, I mean, like, because you have like a large team and you have employees, you have people who look up to you. I bet a lot of your team members are like, must be nice, Mark, to have inherited this business from your parents or something along those lines, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. Like the teammate, they like a lot of them, they think, I think when they're first starting out, like they don't know me yet.
Yeah.
So if like we new team members, they're like, oh, like, you know, must be nice. Like, oh, he's just rolling, right? But I think like has wives at the gym, you know, like they don't know like what it took to get there. And like, to be honest, it does take a lot of work, but the real question was like being curious and asking questions. Like, how did that happen? It's like, even if you're a homeowner, they flip a house next door, or your neighbor owns 5 properties. It's like, dude, did you ask, like, how did you do that? Like, you're a realtor? Like, it's just a bunch of questions and then some action.
You know what too is kind of funny is when you're just starting and you see these very successful people, like you don't want to ask because you don't want to intrude, but successful people like to talk about themselves.
Bro, for sure.
Let me tell you. Like,
I started from nothing.
You get some time. Let's pull up a chair. Let me tell you my story.
Yeah, that's 1,000%. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
But I mean, like you're very successful now. Like you've got a big construction company. You're guys flipping houses. You're doing some ground ups. You guys have a bunch of rental properties. You drive a G-Wagon, which
my wife drives a G-Wagon.
Your wife drives a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's kind of funny. We were talking about this is for all the success you've had in the real estate game, like when you post on social media and things, people really don't care about all the houses you build and all this other stuff you did, but they care that you drive a G-Wagon.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. So like people like, it doesn't matter. You could have like 20 units, flip all these properties. You know, you could even show what you bought it for and what you sell it for. But people are like, well, you got a G-Wagon? Because there is like a sign of success in there because it seems like expendable money maybe. Yeah. And maybe there's like a fun factor to it. Like rental properties, it sounds kind of cool, but it's actually not that fun, right? Unless you're like super into that, but like everybody's kind of into like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to like, you know, it's age old. Like if you had a nice horse, a nice chariot.
Yeah.
It's
like, well, I mean, like in today's age, right? You've got a nice car, you've got a nice watch. People like really look like for some reason that catches everybody's eye.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, this is kind of a side topic, but like you're a Christian and like there's a lot of people who will say like, as a Christian, you can't own nice things. You know, like what's your thought behind that?
Yeah, they're crazy. They're crazy.
Okay.
Like I think the people that were like around Jesus had nice stuff. So like I don't remember all the people, but I know somebody like had a boat, right? And they used to fish.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So like people were fishing. That was like a fishing business. Like they were businessmen.
Okay.
So I don't think they were just like, you know, like wasteful with their money. I think they were like profitable, and I think that they were like spending their money right. They probably invested in bait And like, you know what I'm saying? Like you had to be like responsible with what you were doing.
So I mean, there's, if you're using it for work, right? Let's say like you buy a tractor, a trailer, a boat. That's like, that's a different story. But let's say like a G-Wagon.
Okay, good. I like how you're driving it. Okay, cool.
I'm not judging. I just want to hear like your thought process here.
Yeah. Okay. So like how am I driving a G-Wagon and a Christian?
Yeah. I mean, just like, what's your thought process behind that?
There's a whole bunch there to unpack. So I'll go as deep as I can. So like, so I think the G-Wagon, it does like originally we bought it because we think it's dope and it's like safe and it's like 6,000 pounds. Okay. So there's like the business write-off.
So there's actual tax advantage for this, right?
There's business advantage, there's tax advantage, but then it's also like, I think our team, there's like a sign of success. So the team feels like cool being a part of somebody that's successful, right? So like my actual like construction team members, it's like, oh, like there's some stability. It shows stability that like we have these properties, that we have like a nice car, that there shows stability. Like we're gonna have work for them for the next 20 years. We're not like wishy-washy. We're not driving a rundown car.
I mean, that's a really interesting point, I think. So like, because a lot of these times I would think like if you have a team, they wouldn't like to see you drive a nice car because like, hey, this a-hole Mark, like he's driving like a G-Wagon. I'm here slaving away. Like how come he gets to afford this, but not have to work so hard, right? Yeah. But then in reality, what you're telling me is that people like to see like the top have some success at least, and it gives them more a sense of security or I guess, to be a part of something cooler. Does it make sense?
For sure. And you're only one step away, right? So a guy that I like work with, that I shake hands with, that I have lunch with, that I hang with, it's like, okay, we have like a G-Wagon, we have like rental properties. He's only one step away from having some of that stuff himself. He's like on the coattail of somebody that's had some success, right? And then there's like stability in it. So it's like, oh, like if they drive a 6-figure car, they have multiple rentals. It's like, man, I'm trying to make smart plays that are like good financial decisions. And there's like stability in that. We're not going to be out of business in the next few months, right? Like, and unless anything catastrophic, like there's stability, there's like responsibility in being able to like handle those things. Yeah. So if you drive like a Ferrari or a Lambo or a G-Wagon or a small plane or whatever, it's like, man, there's got to be some responsibility in there. You're not just being like wild and reckless with your money, right?
But I mean, I guess like the counterpoint is like, let's say you to drive an old beater. So like, let's say like because then there's some people who say like, as a Christian, you should be very frugal with your money, right? Drive a beater. So like as an owner, if you're driving, let's say like a 1987 Corolla or something along those lines, right? Like certain people would say like they really they would really praise you, like Warren Buffett, he drives his own car or something, and say like, I think it's really like strong for you to be very humble in that position, even though you have a lot of money. Yeah. Well, other guys that you're saying is maybe they're like, actually, I appreciate my owner driving something nice because it's something that I can aspire to, and also gives me more confidence that I can trust that he's actually has enough money to afford this, so then he can afford to have enough money to keep the company afloat or something along those lines.
No, I hear it. And like, I think it's cool. Like, and I don't feel like, I wouldn't feel weird about driving a beater. I just don't want to drive it every day, right? So like we have like a work car and like a car that we zip around town in, but it's like that's not the car that I want to like pull up to like a great meeting in, or that, you know, if my wife's driving the kids off at school, it's like, oh, like I don't want her to be like stuck on the side of the road, right? So like I'm not like above it. It's not my identity to have like a cool car, but I think it's like, you know, it's nice to have, right? And I think it's cool, like, and I think that they can see that. If like people get to know you, they can see like, oh, dude, they're not like obsessed with this thing, right? So I think that's the big thing is like, if you're not like in love with your vehicle, you're not like obsessed over it. It's like, oh, dude, it's just a part of like this whole playbook, you know? Yeah. It's a part of, it's a piece of the puzzle.
I mean, because this is like kind of off topic, but I just saw a post recently where this guy's like, hey, he said he would never buy a Lamborghini as a Christian because if he ever had that enough money to afford it, he would rather use it to buy somebody else another house or donate it to charity. Like, you know, so like, how can I use this money that I could potentially donate towards charity? Why would I buy the Lamborghini instead of donating to charity? You know, I mean, that's just like a post that I read recently. And so I'm just kind of throwing this on you.
No, I like it. I like it.
Unpack this thought or this idea.
Yeah. So like if he's saying, oh, you can't he wouldn't get a Lamborghini. He would use that money to like help somebody get a house or help the poor.
If he could afford one, right? So like he sees people who drive Lamborghinis. Like as a Christian, I can't believe that you're driving a Lamborghini as a Christian. If I had enough money to buy a Lamborghini, I would take all that money and donate it to like my church or to charity. You know?
It's because he doesn't have Lamborghini money. And I'm not trying to diss him. I don't know him. But it's probably because he just doesn't have Lamborghini money or Lamborghini mentality. So I think if his mentality was like, oh, like the Lamborghini is not like the end goal, right? Like I think when you don't have money or don't have like the skills to maybe like generate that kind of income, you're thinking like, oh, that was the trophy or that was the end prize. But really, like people that really drive Lamborghinis, that's not their end goal. That's just a piece of the puzzle. And they're able to generate way more income and money and like net income. And you can do a lot of good with money, right? So it's like if your heart's not like, like stuck on getting a Lambo, it's just part of the machine. It's like, man, you can like, the Lambo's just a piece of the puzzle. And then you have this money you can still give to the church. You can still like build affordable housing. You can still like help people in so many different ways. And the Lambo, like it actually doesn't keep money away from you. It's not a waste of money. It's an investment to actually get more money. Right. So if your heart's in like helping build the kingdom, it's like a Lambo can help it. I don't think it's like, oh, like if you're not in lust with it, right? If you're in lust with like a Ferrari or a Lambo or a helicopter, if you're in lust with it, then that's the problem. But if it's a piece of the puzzle, dude, get it. You don't have to drive a beater. I
mean, it's just an interesting point, just because I see this debate all the time from both sides, and so like as somebody who some people have had some success, right? Like sometimes like it gives you a different perspective on life as opposed to like depending on where you are, and so it's just really interesting to think through these things, and like is there a right or wrong way, and just what is like the responsible way to use your money once you have it,
Yeah. Well, I think like if you're having going back to the Christian point, it's like I think if you're having like consistent dialogue with God, like you will know, like there will be like red lights flashing saying don't go that way, right? Like if you're having constant communication with God, so like it will feel all wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll know if you're not supposed to go that route, right? Like it could be like a lust of a car or a lust of like some shiny object, then stay away, right? But if it's like, oh man, that'd be kind of cool to have, and then you have it and then it's like not that big a deal and you just keep moving, it could be like, sprinkled blessings and like more, and it can attract, to me, it's a sign of like stability. If somebody has this, like a 6-figure car, they have these like investment properties, they have like stability in their home. It's like, man, there's actually some good decision makings around here. I should probably like be around that, right? Like this feels actually safe to me, not unsafe.
Is there any times in your life where you feel like God directed you something very specifically in your life?
Yeah. I mean, I felt like there was a time where I was supposed to quit a job. I had a job at a nightclub.
Okay.
And I was getting like more serious with my wife. Wife, but we were like dating at the time. And we were like, I was like working at this nightclub and like pouring drinks and like loud music and like people dancing and go-go dancers and the whole thing there. And I felt like good in it. I felt stable in it. But I remember like just pouring a drink for somebody, and then there's like woman asked like, oh, like, can I have this drink? And I couldn't hear what she said. It's like loud in there. So I was like, I can't hear you. So she like leaned closer and was like, can I get like a vodka cranberry? But her like lips were right by my ear. And I remember like looking out to the like dance floor and thinking like, this doesn't look right. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like, I don't even know this girl, like whatever. This is like, I probably should just leave this job. And it was actually going to be a financial hit. I made good money as a bartender. It was going to be a financial hit for me to leave that like scene.
So this was before you were a contractor. You were working as a bartender.
Yeah, working as a bartender. So it was like, I just felt like, man, I should leave here. And I knew that would be a financial hit. And I was like getting, serious with my then girlfriend. And it was like, man, I got to get out of here. And I felt, and it was like really quick. Like I left like within 10 days or something like that. Like, hey man, I'm not going to stay here.
I mean, I just feel like it's such a rocky road to navigate as a business owner and as a Christian, because there's always these opposing things, right? Because you want to make money, right? But we also want to follow God. And sometimes I feel like those things are like in contrast, or they're in like battle with each other. So just trying to like navigate this whole thing, right? Is like, okay, like, that you want to be wealthy in the world's eyes, but you also want to be wealthy in God's eyes, right? And so like, how do you kind of like I guess manage those two things at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I want to be like a giver, right? So I want to give. So it's like, I think like, I think it says like be a joyful giver. I don't know if I'm like jumping for joy to give, but I definitely feel like, oh, like just for the discipline act, it's like, okay, I want to like, give my tithe. But then it's like, I feel grateful for like what I have, that I can give back to like just be like within my community and within my church and like within like the nonprofits that I'm around. It's like, I mean, I do want to be like a joyful giver. I'm not like fully joyful. Like I'm not like throwing a party every time I give, but I am like.
But it's like I almost maybe it's like a grateful giver, right?
Yeah.
Like you feel like you're there's a peaceful joy when you give when you give your tithe, when you give an offering.
Yeah.
I think when I first started, there was like a struggle, internal struggle to want to give, right?
Yeah.
But I reached a point now where like I feel very grateful to be able to give this either the tithe or an offering or to help in different ways.
Yeah, and my like wife, she doesn't. There's no like pushback. There's no conflict on our home of that. It's like, oh, like dude, we just cut the check, or we just like, like for anything, even like somebody that gets married, we attend their wedding. It's like, man, I just feel like grateful to be in a position to be able to give to them. Somebody like, whatever, the baby is born. It's like, they're like blessing the family. It's like, man, I just want to like be a part of that, So I definitely am grateful for what we have. And then I want to be a good steward. I could probably be a little more responsible, but like, I want to be a grateful steward. God's like, rain down blessings on us. So it's like,
because you have kids too, right? How many kids do you have?
So I have 3 kids.
3 kids.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is like you're a father, your husband, you're a business owner, your friend, your son. Wear a lot of hats, right?
Yeah.
But as a father, as your kids are navigating life and you're trying to teach them things about, let's say, like money and like God. Yeah. How do you teach them like how to manage those things together?
Yeah. No, the kids think money grows on trees. They have like no idea, like. Like just give me a souvenir, just this. They don't understand obviously the value of $1, but it is like, we make it a point to say that like, hey, like this is God's money, right? Like it really is, right? Like, so we work and we do our part, but like it can all go away in a second. So it's like, we're grateful for what we have. We pray over every meal, like, amen. God, thank you for everything. Bless us with our peace and like protection and like our health, right? We ask for that. And we ask for the business to do well. And we feel responsible for people that work in our business and people that do business with us. So we want to like honor God in how we're communicating even with like our staff, right? Yeah. But with my kids, it's like, my son, he was like working with our company like for part of the summer. Okay. And it's like, hey, dude, the first 10%, it's not even yours. Okay. Like, this is all God's. So God doesn't want your 10%. He wants his 10%, right? So give him his 10, and then now let's talk about like not being crazy with the other 90%, right?
So how much does your son make? Let's say like in a week.
You
don't have to answer if you don't want to.
No. He makes pretty good money. So like I try to not make child labor. Okay.
Right?
So
he's getting like a legit like.
Dude, if you work hard, it makes good money. So he was making like $140 a day.
How old is he?
As a 13-year-old. So
dude, that is a crazy amount of money for him. So but he's working as like is he keeping up with the other?
He keeps up. So we have like talks on the way, right? So if I'm like driving him to a work site, it's like, hey, dude, everybody's looking at you. Like we're like, you're a Lopez. Lopez is work hard. We work hard. You don't have the skill as everybody else. You don't know everything as else, but nobody can attack your will. So there's like skill and will. So what you lack in skill, you have to make up.
I love that.
In will, right?
There's a thing where I like the way that you're kind of framing this, where it's okay, like you realize that you're not skilled enough as, let's say, the next person behind you, but you have work ethic that nobody can take away from you. And when you look at, let's say, guys who are very successful and they're looking at the guys coming up, like the guys who we are cheering on or want to help are the guys who are working hard. And so like, they're not going to have the same resources. They're not going to have the same ability or the same like, knowledge. But then if they have a good work ethic, that's the guys who you're like, hey, I want to help you succeed, because I think it's universal. Like work ethic is something that everybody appreciates or holds in high regard.
No, for sure. It doesn't matter where you're at. You could be on a golf course and you see the way the guy's like grooming the sand and he's like on it. It's like, dude, I like, good morning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to be around people that are like in. Yeah. There's like a leaning in or a leaning out, right? So it's like, you have a decision. You could like lean in as an employee or as like whatever your position is, or you can lean out. Yeah. So it's like with my kids, it's like, dude, you got to lean in to ice skating, right? You got to lean in at gymnastics. You got to lean in soccer. And if you're working and like there is almost like, I try not to make it like crazy, but it's like, man, if you're like a Lopez, right? Like if you're what, right? That's what we do. It's like in your blood already, we lean in. So like what you lack in skill, you just overpower in will. Like nobody can question that, right? So we started having my son, and he would bring some of his friends and my nephew to the job sites, and like the regular employees are like, yo, chill, bro, you kind of like working a little too fast, right? And it's just like shoveling dirt into a wheelbarrow and then go take it to the like dumpster, or move this pile of dirt to over there, or move these bricks over here. So it's like safety first, and then you're going, right? You can rest later. Like you should come out of a workday looking like you came out of a coal mine, right? Like really. So like just give 100% effort. Nobody can take it away. And like, if I could add something, I would just say that like the way my son and my nephew and like and their friend, how they end the day with pride. There's just an inherent pride in when like, man, I gave it everything I had, no matter how it turned out. Yeah. I gave it everything I had. Nobody can take that. Nobody can take it away from you. It's like, there's so much confidence that's built from that, and so much pride and built like knowing, man, I left it all out on the field, right? There's a win. That's a win.
No, 100%. I think and like when you go to sleep at night, there's like days where like you didn't accomplish everything you set out to do, but you gave it your best. Yeah. Those are the days like you have like the confidence or the sense that you give your best effort.
Yeah. So, yeah, you do the wins, right? Yeah.
So it means, okay, so your son, he's giving his best effort. He's like going above and beyond. He's overpowering his lack of skill with willpower. Yeah. But then, and he's also making some pretty good money as a 13-year-old, right? Yeah. So like, does he just tithe easily? Like, how does that conversation look like?
We're working on it, right? We're working on it. So it's just like, hey, like he was like, hey, just take it out of my check. Okay. Like just take the 10% out for me. And it's like, no, dude, you're gonna physically drop it in the basket. You're gonna physically like fill out the envelope and put it in the basket. Like that can't be me that does it for you. Like, cause I just want to build healthy habits, right? So it's like, you should physically be doing it, not me. Right.
That's really interesting because as a dad, like let's say $140 a day times five days a week, let's say that's $700, something along those lines, right? Yeah. Then like you're like more proud that he gave that 10% than the actual 10% that he's giving. For sure. Right? So like it's such a thing with God too, is like a lot of times God expects us or asks us to give the 10%, but he doesn't force us to. So it's not so much that he needs our 10% for his like whatever, but it's like the fact that we choose to give it is like more meaningful than the actual 10% itself.
I love that. I like that perspective. Well, and the other thing about the 10% is like, there was like, I still have this like, my trump card, right? So at the end I have a card in my mind like that I can pull, right? Or a button I can press. So it's like, oh dude, if you don't give your 10%, you're fired, right? Like, cause you're my son, I can just fire you cause you're not giving 10%, right? Like whatever.
But I mean, that's as a dad, right? But
that's the dad move.
But then you're teaching your son for this, right? But in the back of your mind, you're like, the value you're seeing is like your son like making the right decision and honoring God with his 10%. But like, I mean, because really, like, you don't really, like, the 10% means nothing, and it would be so much easier if you were to just take it away or take it off the top and not let him have like the option. So like God could just say like, okay, like we're just gonna take 10% from you and not even give you the option. But the whole point is to give you the option so that you can make the choice yourself, and you can choose to keep it or not to keep it. Same way I feel like with our lives, right? Because with our lives, God, we have the free will to do good or to do bad or to do like whatever we want, and God could just say like, I'm just gonna choose to force you to do good, and then there's no problem in the world, right? There's no death, there's no hurt, there's nothing, because God just forces us to do the right thing. But the whole point is to give us the option to choose whether we do want to give that 10 or we want to just keep it and buy like a lamb or whatever, right?
Yeah. Well, it's crazy too, because it's like, oh, like I think like having those conversations about the 10%, it's like, oh, that 10%, we like want to, like, not only is it the discipline and like we're supposed to do it, but it's like you want to honor God, right? So then like I have that conversation with them, and then it's like, well, hold up, I got to look at the mirror. And it's like, am I honoring God out of like, with my lips? Am I honoring God with like whatever, the way that I communicate with my team? Or, you know what I mean? Like you can go on forever of like, man, am I even honoring God in how I live or how I communicate with people, or like, the moments I get angry, like, am I just way out of character there, or is that my character? Right? You just start to have to like continue. Like, it's crazy when you're trying to teach somebody or trying to like lead somebody, you start having to look in the mirror and you're like, hey, okay, I guess I got like my 10% I need to work on, you know what I mean? And not just 10%, it's like whatever there. It's like, I gotta like, if I'm saying, dude, you want to honor God with your life? It's like, am I doing that? And I am in like some facets, and then there's all this room for growth. There's all this like wide open space where it's like, dude, I probably gotta like reassess some things,
I think it's the most important thing is like, it's not so much like the actual like action itself is like the direction that you're moving. So like you always want to be moving in the right direction. So like, of course, everybody's going to make mistakes. We're sinful people. We're going to sin. We're going to say the wrong things. We're going to not give God. We're going to do these things.
Yeah.
But then after that happens, are you in the direction of you're moving away, or are you moving in the direction where you're moving towards God, right? So like, are you sorry? Are you trying to make amends? Are you trying to fix the mistakes that you made? Because we're all going to make mistakes, but we're all headed in a certain direction. We're either heading more towards God or more away. And some of us are so far from God, so we look like we're a-holes, but we're actually heading in the right direction. There's other guys who are very close to God, but they're heading in the backwards direction, right? So I think more important than where we are on that timeline, God's looking at what direction are you moving into.
No, it's great. So I like that. So like, if you're headed towards God or you're headed away, generally, I think it's like how much communication somebody's having with God, right? So if they're in constant communication with God, normally I don't see them like going away. Yeah. Right. If they're like, it's when you turn the phone lines off, right? So if you just like stop communication, you stop your prayer, you stop your time with God, it's like, oh, like now you can kind of like slide away or slide into like consuming other things. I see, you have like phone lines with something else, right? Whereas like if the phone line's always on and you're always like communicating with God, I feel like you'll naturally be like more just drawn, like magnetized into being like closer to God, because God's dope. He's good, right? So it's like, oh, I keep the phone line open, like I'm messing up, let me stay closer to you. But if the phone line's off, then it's like, it might not look like it at first, but there's like, I think naturally like a slow drift,
slow fade,
if your phone's lines off, if you're not staying in communication with God. That's a
really good point, a really interesting perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of went on a bunny trail.
Sorry, no, it's way good.
I'm just like asking you different questions. Just personally, selfishly, I want to hear like your thoughts on those things, because I know you're a business owner, and these are things that I personally struggle with money and my faith, so. Yeah,
I try not to be arrogant about the like money and church stuff. Like you pull up to church in like a, 6-figure car. Yeah. But it's like, I'm not arrogant about it, but I like do feel like there's like a truth for me, right? That I think like, I don't feel any kind of way about it. Yeah. Like I feel like, oh, like cool. Like God's blessed us in like certain ways, and like, we want to be good with it. And like, excuse me. And like, we just continue honoring God. Like, I'm not landing a helicopter on the church or anything, but
you could.
It could happen, right?
It's all relative, right?
Yeah.
So. But going back to like the original thought of like contractor into a real estate investor, what do you think is like maybe like the pros and cons? Like, why would you go dabble into real estate when you've got a successful contracting business?
Yeah. If you're successful in construction, you have a successful construction company, like why would I go into real estate? I think if you're in construction, you're around real estate enough to see like, oh, people can make really good livings in real estate. So you for sure should at least dabble in it. But I think like the risk is super low because you already have so much control over like what happens with the real estate deal, right? One of the biggest things that's scary about real estate investing is like, oh, like the contractor tripled the price. The contractor ghosted us. Like somebody left us hanging. Well, if you're the contractor, it's like, well, I already know like we're good, right? So now it's just, did I like underwrite the deal right? Did I have like the math correct?
One piece of the pie is basically taken care of and with no risk, right?
A giant piece.
And also like you can do it for like savings at a cost because the true price is not a retail price. So like you're not going to jack up the price on your own job or like run away or ghost it. So because of like that piece that you have in that puzzle, feel way more confident in that particular project. Yeah,
you have a giant competitive advantage, right? It's like, oh man, or like even if it's not like a competitive advantage, it's like you have like some certainty. It's like, man, I have this like there's so many uncontrollables in real estate.
It is a competitive advantage.
Yeah. But there's a for sure, like I have this under control. Like I really know my game. So let me, like the construction, that's taken care of. And I think that's the scariest part for most investors is like, is the contractor going to keep their timeline? Are they going to keep their like, stay on budget? Are they not going to ghost me? Are they not going to do crappy work? So like, if you already have that, that's so many worries out of the way, right? Now it's just like, are your numbers correct? Right.
Because in a real estate deal, let's say whether it's a flip or rental, there's like the purchase, there's, let's say they're raising the money for all of these things. There's the renovation, there's the interest you're paying, and then there's either the sale or the refinance right in the back end. So as let's say like a realtor, you have access to like maybe say deals and also, the price at the end. but then you don't know the contracting. And
Yeah.
then maybe like as a loan officer, like, you know, like the money part, but you don't know how to find the deals. You don't know how to do the contracting, and you don't know the salesperson to end. And, but as a contractor, you know the construction, but you don't know how to find the deals. You don't know how to raise the money, and you don't know the prices to end. So like everybody has like one piece of the pie, but then like, but you're trying to figure out the other pieces.
Yeah. I mean, so like my advice to anybody that's in construction, that knows construction really well, that is trying to get into real estate. It's like, man, you just have to get in a room of real estate. You just have to be around people that are making moves. And it doesn't have to be some like, you know, like super successful flipper, or it's like, it could be like a buy and holder that has 10 units that's accumulated them over time. It could be somebody that's adding ADUs that, you know, leveraged a HELOC or a cash out refinance. It could be, I mean, there's so many different like, you know, colors of real estate, but it's like, man, if you just like are linked, you're in a room where people are doing real estate transactions, they're making real estate moves like on the regular. If you're just in the room, I think you'll naturally gravitate to start being involved in real estate deals.
Was there like maybe like a conversation or a meetup you went to or an event you went that kind of gave you like an aha moment from contractor to real estate investor?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I was like listening to Bigger Pockets.
Okay.
Crazy, right? Before I was even in construction, I was like 100 episodes. Like I would, you know, I had this sales job and I would listen to Bigger Pockets all the way on these, like, you know, from job to job, like going to these sales pitches. I would like go from, I mean, like just every minute I was in the car, I like couldn't wait to listen to another episode.
That's funny. I did the exact same thing.
I mean, like 100. Like,
dude, I listened to like from 1 to 300 every single episode. Like not even joking.
I believe that. Yeah. When I met Brandon Turner, I was like fangirl, bro. Like, oh my God. I like, you know, like.
You know, so what's crazy? So I met Brandon Turner like at a meetup in Maui, right? So I like the same thing. I was like, cause like it's like, I listened to him so much, like, you know, like he's like kind of like an idol, right? And so like, I was like, thank you so much, Brandon. Like you changed my life. Yeah. Right? And then what Brandon told me was, no, you changed your life.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was like, it's still in this moment. It's it was amazing. But sorry, just like
I fangirled out. I'm like, my wife was there, and I was like, hey, like, let me get a picture with Brandon Turner. And then I didn't know he was like 7 feet tall, right? But like, I was just like, hey, like, grab this photo, and then like, I fully fangirled. I was like, yo, I listened to like 100 episodes, like, and I told him the whole story I just told you. Like, I would call people and say like, have you listened to episode 72? Have you heard about, I mean, I was so into it and just wanted to know everything I could about real estate. So this is before I was in construction, right? So I was like learning all these things and like still didn't understand fully how to do it. But I definitely like, you know, had like, I mean, countless hours of information.
So you're kind of, as mostly, you're kind of like in real estate investing. You had the bug before you got into construction.
For sure. Had a bug, thought, that might be a path to do something. But then I thought like the vehicle might be like, oh, let's make some money in construction. And then I can, like, real estate would be the dream. That's the retirement dream or something. So I forgot the question at the beginning.
So I mean, was there an event or like?
Yeah, so we were starting to do like our own real estate moves, but they was all buy and hold. Okay. You know, I have like a Mexican family, like Mexican dad, Mexican grandparents, and their whole thing is like, we're going to buy a house and we're never going to sell, right? And then we're going to buy a house in the neighborhood for like an aunt or an uncle, and they're never going to sell. Okay. So it's like, they're like, my family's strategy was like, buy a house, never sell it, at some point buy another house, and then when we die, then somebody gets 2 houses and then they get a house, right? Like, it was like so snail's pace. Yeah. But I saw, you know, Ryan Pineda, he has like his WealthCon. So I saw like ads for it over and over and over. So I signed up to go to a WealthCon. When I went to my first WealthCon, my mind was blown. Like, there was people in there that had like 150 units. People were like, oh, I flipped like 14 houses last year. There's people that's like, I'm buying an apartment building with 38 units. Like, what? And it's like, the dude looked like a regular dude, right? So I was just like around these people that were like, you know, then I would like start talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, you know, like my marketing, like, you're what? And they were like, oh, like they had the truck that says like, we buy houses. And there was like, somebody else had like, you know, when you go to the grocery store, they have like shopping carts. And it's like, when you're pushing the shopping cart, it says like, we'll buy your house. It was like marketing everywhere and like billboards and like ads and all this stuff. And I was like, it was just a new world for me. So it's like being close to people that were making those kinds of transactions. It was like, oh, I think I'm going to start doing this like to another level. So that was the one that like blew my mind, was like WealthCon, being in a room with 1,000 people. A lot of them have, you know, are like curious about it, but like there's a strong amount of people in there that are doing tons of deals and they're regular people. and it's like, oh, I got to be a part of this.
I love that. I mean, I feel like I've had a similar experience of just being in different rooms where it's just they're normalizing real estate investing and success.
Yep.
And I think like especially me growing up and like the with your circle of friends, like everybody's like cool. There's no no bad apples, but there's people who are just their view of the world is like, hey, you work a job, you barely like get a 401k, you barely survive. If you're lucky, you can get to retirement and like not run out of money, right? Yeah. It's just like it's a very stable, safe, but then like very like low ceiling life, right? Yeah. And then you get into these rooms where there's guys like literally making like my annual salary every single month. It's like it's like, and it's not like they're bragging. It's just like, it's matter of fact. It's like, like my last month I made $100,000 like the flipping or whatever, and it just is what it is. Like, it's just normal. No, and then so when you see that and you're just around, it's like, this does not seem real. Like this can't, like my view of life in the world is just like, it's expanded or it's broken, right?
It's crazy, yeah.
And then you kind of like, okay, like this is what life could be, or this is what life is like normally for these people. You get into this room, it's like, why not me? It's like
it's like a decision to not be a part of it, right? Or to be a part of it. So like when I had that sales job, it's like, oh, if you sold like this, service for let's say $15,000 and you get 10%, it's like, man, if I sell a $15,000 service and I get 10%, then I'm going to get $1,500 before taxes. Yeah. So we would, in that room of salespeople, we would actively be talking like, dude, I got a $15,000 sale. I got a $10,000 sale. I got $5,000 sale. We're just like actively talking about that. That's this room, right? This sales room. Yeah. But you go in this other room, like WildCon, you go in this other room of these like real estate meetups, and it's like, oh yeah, I just had 3 flips. Oh, I just like did this wholesale. I just did it. They're talking about the sale the exact same way. It's like units, but the numbers are like, I just sold this thing and I made like 200. Like what? I just sold this thing. I made 30. I mean, there's no bragging. They're just talking, just like we were just talking about the other things, like when I bartended, it was like, oh, my sales tonight were 4,000. My sales tonight were 3,000. We're just talking. Yeah. It's the same story.
Well, it's funny because there's levels to this thing, right? So like, let's say like you're whatever, like a school teacher or whatever, like you compare salaries to each other. Yeah, we all make like 30 grand a year, and like I got a bonus for 2,000, I got a bonus for like 3,000, whatever thing is, right? And then you go to, let's say, like in the bartender space, like I just made $4,000 tonight. You're like, what? Yeah, like it's insane, like to see that's available, right? And then like we get into these rooms where like I just made like 40 grand like yesterday, right? Like, and then like there's other rooms we haven't gotten into yet where they're like, I just made $1 million that's last week, and like that's just normal for them, right? Because we're not at that level yet. Yeah. But then it's just when you get into these rooms, it helps you to just see what's possible in the opportunity, and if you stay in this room long enough, it's just a matter of time before you elevate to this room, or you're gonna feel like so out of place and you're just gonna leave, right?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, no, that's exactly it, right? Like, if you hang out, I mean, like you think about it, like your whole life, it's like who you are who you hang around, kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like, dude, if you hang around gangsters, you're gonna start dressing like a gangster. You hang around people that race cars, you're gonna start racing cars. Whatever the thing is, right? So it's like, oh, like you just gotta be in the room. That's half of it. And then when you're in the room, you can choose. Like we were talking about my son. Once you're in the room, you can choose to lean out or you can choose to really lean in. And anybody that's leaning in and giving an effort, you're going to be successful. I don't care if you're like digging a trench or if you're trying to like wholesale homes or buy a hotel. Like if you're giving your all and you're leaning in and you're in the right room, it's just a matter of time before it happens. I can't imagine how it wouldn't happen.
I mean, it's such a true point. And I think a lot of times it's the thing that I see that holds people back is just not leaning in. It's not, or it's like leaning, just stepping your foot into it, right? Where you're just kind of giving like the bare minimum effort, but you're not fully immersed in it. Yeah. But once you fully immerse yourself into it and you just like close all other options or you just like put the blinders on, that's where I see like the real success actually happen.
Well, I think there's like actually deep psychology to it. I think it's like deep and emotional, right? So if like you have the mindset that like, I didn't come from this, I'm not from this isn't for me, then you can lean out. You could be like, this isn't who we are. So I'll give you an example. If my dad was a doctor and my mom was a doctor and our uncles are doctors, it's not that big a deal for me to be a doctor, right? Like it's just a part of life. Now, if my dad was a teacher, my mom was a teacher, all my family members are teachers, then being a doctor would be a really big deal. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's like what happens is people get into these rooms where these big deals are happening and they're like, whoa, like I'm not from this big deal kind of world.
Yeah.
And now there's a choice to be like, I want to be in that. And there's like a shift that has to happen, or they lean out because it's too scary, right? It's too scary to be a doctor if I'm a teacher family, right? But if it's like, no, dude, I'm just be a doctor because I have the access now. So I do see like being in those rooms, there's people that like, if you go to like a large meetup, you go to the back of the room, there's people that are leaning out, right? You go to the middle of the room, there's people that are like, I don't know if this is for me. And that's okay. It's okay for them. But they're like leaning out. But then you see people that are just like leaning heavy into the front, and they're not from it, but they're like, this is a good opportunity and I don't want it to pass up. Right? So I think there's something deep, like it's just a mindset shift and like a worth, like can I be a part of this, right? So when I say to my son, you're a Lopez, Lopez's work hard, right? There's like, I'm branding that on him, right? But it's like, if I said, you're a Lopez and Lopez's are lazy, we're always been lazy, we're always going to be lazy. That sounds crazy, right? But that's what we do to ourselves when we get into these big rooms and we're like, no, we don't do big deals like this, right? We lean out. We're like literally saying this isn't for us versus like, no, dude, we just haven't done it yet. Like, let me just do a couple of these and then like we're at this level. So I'm just trying to like lean into it and like not count myself out, you know? And I think there's something deep that happens in there when you get into those big rooms. You have like, what do they call it? Imposter syndrome. Right? You're like, these people are big and rich and smart and they know so much more. They're so much wiser, you know? Like,
and the thing is like, you see these people on stage, and I think whenever you see someone on stage, you put an extra, I guess, like
they're glowing, bro.
Like I mean, like no, I mean, just you think they don't seem like human. They don't seem normal. Or like they're not normalized. They're like there's a stage and there's a wide gap between me and the stage person, right? Same thing happens, let's say like on like a movie, like an actor like a Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie. There's a wide gap between us, right? Or a Kanye West. Same thing for us, maybe in social media. Like you see a guy's very famous on social media, like a Mr. Beast or whatever it is. There's a wide gap between us, right? But I think a lot of times when I've gotten the chance to actually meet some of these speakers backstage, like have conversations with them, it's very crazy that these people are just normal people. Like I had so many like experiences with like very famous people who are speaking on stage, thanks to Ryan Pineda, that like I just got to have all these like dinners or conversations with these people, and they're like normal people, but they're not normal. It's like just the way they see the world or the way like they think about life is so different. And so it's like they don't have a special like skill set, or they're not like extra smart, or like there's nothing like really special about them except just like the way that they see the world and what's possible. And I think maybe just the effort or the work that they kind of push towards like that goal or that dream. Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's like, I mean, and I believe that, right? Like, I think like, oh, it's like a normal person that just has like ceiling that's different in their mind. Their like vision's like wide open, right? And then they work. Like, I don't think you can be lazy. Just, you know, you'll get real sad if you got these big, like the saddest people I know are people that have big dreams or think that something's there for them and then they're lazy, right? But if you like work and your mind is open and your ceiling's like wide open, it's like, dude, it seems like it's right there, you know? And I think that's something that I go through, right? Is like understanding what my ceiling is, like making sure that my mind can't think, oh, that's just for those people, that's not for these people, right? I have to like constantly process through that. It's like so, so when we're going to these like events and things where you're having these conversations, there's so many things where you'll hear something on stage, it'll spark like a little thing in your mind, or you have a conversation here and there to like spark something. How do you like, I guess, go to these events with like plan ahead, or like what's like the goal, like what kind of conversations are you trying to have? What's like kind of like the goal to kind of like unlock some of these like things inside of yourself? Yeah, that's a great question. So I think when I go to the events, like first and foremost, I want to like meet cool people. Like I don't want to like hang out with people I don't like, right? Okay. So I like naturally, organically let that happen. Like people that I like, people that I think seem like trustworthy and open characters. And like, by the way, I never meet jerks there. Like almost like 99.9%, everybody's pretty dope, right? I think there's a misconception. People think like those rich jerks, you know, those real estate clowns, they're all scams. It's like, dude, I can't name really any, you know what I mean? Like they're good people there. So that's the first thing, is like, I just want to hang around with cool people. But in terms of the information, I'm like looking for a nugget that like ties in with what I'm doing, right? Sometimes something will come that it's like, whoa, that was out of left field and I didn't even think about that. But normally it's like, because I'm leaning in. People are leaning out
at the events, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like leaning in. I'm taking a ton of notes, and I'm like trying to like just refine everything. Like, is there anything there that can refine what I'm already doing? Because it's already making money. Yeah. Oh, like that can better my process. Something that can like be better for what I already have going. But then if there's something new, some information I didn't think of, it's like, or even like inspiration, it's like, man, I want to like write that down and like revisit it. Like literally like get back to the shop, have a meeting with my wife on it, have a meeting with my team about it. Like, I don't want to forget it.
Yeah. You know, I think it's very important to be able to like not just absorb the information, but to process it. So I think a lot of times like we'll go to events and we'll see something very cool and inspiring, and then after we like that event's over, we completely forget about it. Yeah. But we really like, that's why I think it's good that you're writing things down. Yeah. And then let's say you bring it back to your team or you like process it with somebody else. It really helps to solidify it or kind of work through it and like work it into your soul or into like your mind or your heart, like, because I think it's very important for us to, when we hear something cool or we hear like a very important takeaway, that we don't just like, that's cool, but then like it just drifts away and it never makes an impact on us. Yeah.
No, I try to stay like, I want to be like a canvas, you know, like I want to be able to like receive information, but I think about like, and then staying in the game, right? So it's like, oh, like I write down the notes. Dude, if you write down enough notes, you start looking like, whoa, my notes, nobody's saying anything that different. So it's like, I want to like keep, like sometimes I have to hear it like 10 times to like for it to sink in. Yeah. So it's like, keep it simple. Okay, cool. Wrote that down in 2022. Right? It's like, keep it simple. 2023, I wrote that down. 2024, it's like, keep it simple. And it's like, I just keep writing it down and I haven't done anything real simple. So it's like 2025, somebody's like, oh, keep it simple. It's like, man, I've been hearing that this whole time. What could I simplify? Right? And it's like, oh, it took years actually for me to like really get it. And I need to simplify some things. Because if it's too complex, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Making that connection between the idea and to your specific like business or life, because there's so many times when like the idea is like, you understand the concept, you understand what it does, but you never directly apply to how does this apply to like a specific portion in my business or in my investor journey.
Well, and I have to do an action step right away. So if I don't do any kind of action, it's gone. It doesn't matter how good any speaker was or any piece of information. It could be standing ovation good and I'll forget it tomorrow, right? Unless I wrote it down or I text my wife about it or I like did some kind of action step to make that like a signpost in whatever my journey is. It's like, oh, I have to like do something to say there's importance here. If I don't take some type of action, it's gone. But like, you know what I'm saying? It could be like the most emotional thing. If you didn't like take a video of it, you didn't do something about whatever the information was, it will be gone by tomorrow. If you're busy, it's gone. Right.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I think that's why I kind of got into the habit of actually writing things down physically on my iPad. So I used to have like little notebooks where I used to write notes and things on. And then if I don't do anything, it goes away. If I write down in my notebooks or my iPad while it's happening, it helps me to process it a little bit better during that moment. But when I go back and revisit it and kind of process all the notes that I took, that's where I feel like I get the most bang for my buck, because I'm reprocessing it like maybe like a third time now. And so like it's like, okay, I'm reabsorbing, okay, like what did this mean? Sometimes it's terrible because my handwriting is terrible, so I can't read what I wrote. But then like whenever I can read it, right, I'm like, okay, like what was this thought? Okay, like let me process this again. Let me think through how this can actually apply to me. And then let's put, again, like you said, like an action step to see, let's apply this immediately into the business.
Yeah. No, I love that. Like, so even with like inspiration stuff though, right? So like inspiration stuff, some people think that that's just motivational speaking. That's not really applicable in business. But I'll give you an example. So like Ed Milet, when he spoke, you know, he did this talk and he talked about like the busy road and then there's like the lonely road. Okay. So I just like happened to be filming. He was like on a roll. It was like the whole room has chills, right? Like, you know, you've seen him speak. It's wild, right? So he's like on his like moment. And then he did like an illustration and it says like the lonely road and then there's like the busy road. So he did this like visual and it was like a visual of people stuck in traffic. And he's like, this is the busy road. This is the road everybody takes. But entrepreneurs, you're on the lonely road. And it was the visual of like an empty path. And it's like a forest. And he's like, when you walk down this road, you're walking alone on this road, right? Like you might see like one or two people going backwards. Like it's too crazy. Don't go that way. And then you might see people that are like parked on the side because they ran out of money, right? Parked on the side because they ran out of gas. He's like, I'm here to tell you, if you're feeling like like you want to give up, you want to go back. If you're feeling like this, nobody's here with you, then you're on the right road, right? And it's like when you have hard times during entrepreneurship and like tough days, and you're like, why don't I just have a W-2? Why don't I just like I could just give, like do this other business. Like you start getting like squirrel mentality. It's like, oh, like I actually remember his talk, and it's like, oh, these are all the road signs that are saying I'm actually on the right road. If I have these other signs that are like of security and like everybody's there and there's like well-lit streets and all these people with me, that's the like busy road that everybody's on, but we chose this path of entrepreneurship. These are actually the signs of this road. It's lonely. It's, it's a little dangerous.
That's so good. I think like as entrepreneurs, like a lot of times we don't need to be taught as much as we need to be reminded, and just like to be just reminded of these things. Okay, like because we know it's gonna be hard, and we've experienced it, and maybe some people when you just start, you don't realize how hard it's gonna be. But then as we experience more and more hardships, there's sometimes when we're like, I just feel like giving up, right? Because like, it's too hard. But then we need to be remind ourselves like this is what we signed up for. These difficult conversations, these difficult, whether it's like cash problems, whether it's partner problems, whether it's vendor problems, whether it's contractor problems, whatever it is, this is what you signed up for. And if you quit, like you can get off because you ran out of gas or you ran out of money and go backwards and go back to the busy road. Like anybody at any point in time as an entrepreneur, you can always quit. Give it up, everything, and just find a job. There's like, no matter what, you can always find a job. So like, there's always like that way where you can get back to the busy road, but it's a choice to continue going down this lonely road, which hopefully will have some success along the way. And you feel like there's like this bright light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't know. Like I feel like as we're going along, I'm enjoying like the light as we're going on for the most times. But there are a lot of lonely moments as we do it.
For sure, there's lonely moments. There's like really stressful moments, like. The lonely road, the entrepreneurial road, it for sure is the hardest road. It's hard, but it's really dope. You know what I mean? Like the hard stuff, like everything is amplified. So like the bad days are really bad. The sad days are really sad. Like if you have to let somebody go, right? If like the conflict and the confrontations that you have to have, sometimes are really, really heavy. Like the bad stuff is really bad, but the good stuff is so good, dude. It's so good. Like I could never, I'd be like the worst employee ever if I went back to like corporate America or something. I'd be like the worst employee because I know too much now, right? It's like if I'd been stuck in the desert forever and then like everybody's going skiing and it's like, oh dude, I know there's snow. You know what I mean? Like I know I could snowboard. I know there's like snowflakes and like, like a snowman that you can make. It's like, it's not like I don't know. It's like I've seen it. I've been a part of it, and the good days are so good, but the bad days suck,
It's funny. I actually had this conversation with some other buddies, some entrepreneurs, and they're asking me like, hey Daniel, like how much would it take for you to like ever just quit your business and just like take like a W-2, like if somebody paid you like $100,000 a year, would you just quit like and like become a W-2? What if they paid you 200? What if they paid you 300? And then I was like, you know what? It would be so hard because I've already tasted the fruits of entrepreneurship. I mean, I've also tasted the challenges as well too, but because I've seen what's possible or what I think is possible for me personally, especially being in these rooms, like it would be almost impossible for me to go back to being a W-2 because I just believe that like even if I have a falter or let's say I go bankrupt or something, I believe that this thing that's like this entrepreneurship world is still available and out there for me.
No, I love that. I feel the same. I feel like it, this big corporation that I was a part of for years. I think like people ask me like, oh, like what if they offered you like this like region position or like, okay, that doesn't work. How about division? How about like, like upper corporate, like you'd have to move and like all this, like, and I'm like, nope. And they're like, what about like the president of the whole company, right? The president of like $1 billion company, right? Like that kind of loot, that kind of like, everything, the house, all the stuff that they get. Like, what about that? And I'm like, dude, I feel like at a dinner party, I'm so much wealthier than him. I'm not playing. And it's not, and like, I don't have any kind of money like that. We don't have anything like that. Like that dude's like raking it in. But for me, like wealth in terms of like my health, my like relationship with my wife, my relationship with my kids, my like involvement in our community. I get to coach my kids soccer. And then like I have like a responsibility for the teams that we have. And I feel like I'd almost be like dishonoring God if I like didn't do what I'm doing. I'm serious. Like I'd feel like, so like, no, dude, like if we were at a barbecue, I feel like, oh, dude, I'm the wealthier guy. I really do. Like, so I'm super grateful to be in the entrepreneurial world, and it's a rocky road, and like, it is what it is. But I'm like super grateful for it. You know, it's dope. Like if somebody's feeling like they're being called to be an entrepreneur, I would like really ask the question to yourself in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you've like, it's like last day of your life, you've got
to count the cost too, though. I think because honestly, like not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur.
1000%.
Not everybody's called to be an entrepreneur. But if you are called, like count the cost, and if you are called, then like lean in. You know?
You got to go.
Yeah.
You can't like half step it in. Everybody I know that's kind of half stepped, they've all gone back, right? You got to go.
So last question for you. If you could give like a new entrepreneur or a contractor or starting a real estate investor, like one piece of advice, what would you tell them?
So anybody that wanted to be an entrepreneur or that was like considering being a business owner.
Okay.
So my one piece of advice for them is you have got to surround yourself with the people that you want to be like or that you want to be a part of. So if you want to start a business, you have got to find a way to be around business owners. If you want to be in real estate investing, you've got to surround yourself with real estate investors. You just got to like insert yourself in the room and say like, man, I'm here to learn. So that's number one. You have to be around it. If you're not, I think like, you can slowly slip back into not being, like when things get tough, it's easier to go back to a world that you came from. Right. Yeah. But so that's the biggest one is like you have to be around rooms where people are making deals. Yeah. If you want to be a business owner, you have to be around rooms where people are making, whatever the business is, like a coffee shop, a donut shop, construction, electricity, whatever the business is, you have to be around business owners because there's a mindset shift there. That's number one. If I could add a part two, right, is just you got to lean in. You got to go all the way in. So like, but it'll show right away. If you're in the room where people are making moves and doing deals, you're either leaning in or you're leaning out. So if you're in the room, dude, just lean in. And like your percentage, or opportunity for success is really, really high. It's really high if you can lean in and go.
I believe that too.
Yeah. What would be your piece of advice? So if somebody wanted to be an entrepreneur or they wanted to be a business owner and you could like, like I can only give you one piece of advice, what would your one piece of advice be for them?
That's a great question. Maybe I'm biased because I'm listening to this conversation right now, but I think it's something along the similar lines of just focus. And I think the same thing is similar to this lean and is you cannot be distracted by other things. And I think that the entrepreneurship world or road in the very beginning, it requires so much like lift to get off that ground. Yeah. And like you have to focus. And like you can still be working at W2, you can still be doing other things, you can still be having other things, but like 90% of your energy and like mental energy has to be focused into this thing. So even when I was working as a software developer and doing like real estate investing, even though I was putting in my 40 hours, I was like, a lot of my time I was thinking about real estate investing. I was like dreaming about it. I was just at lunch. I was just thinking about it, driving through the car. I was like podcasting, but I was just like focused and like being obsessed with it. I think you needed an obsession with the entrepreneurship or business or your business, at least in the very beginning. Yeah. Just to immerse yourself and completely focus on it.
Dude, I love that one. I want to take that answer actually. That's really good. Because I think about if you go back to the beginning of your journey, that happened. And with mine too, it was like, mine was like, dude, I just burned the boats. Yeah. Like I was like, I'm not going back to there. This thing, I don't even know if I picked the right thing, but it has to work. Yeah. Right. So I'm like all the way in, whether that's early days and late nights and like, you know what I mean? Like I got to like cut costs, whatever the thing is, I'm all in right here. So I was laser focused and I actually wasn't even surrounding myself with people that were in the game. So it was like, that was like a really, really tough struggle for me. And I think that like I'm trying to give a shortcut, like be around people that are doing it.
It makes it easier for sure. Yeah. But it still requires like your 100% effort. Like you said, like leaning in.
Yeah. Dang, that's really good advice.
But dude, it's always a good time having you, like hanging out. But thanks for coming.
Yeah, pleasure, man. Pleasure.